freestyle with fluidity, and then you want to be able to, think some things through and not be above self-critique and editing, which could, make some things better and just be able to do a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I know on a lot of Dead Prez songs, and especially on the new release, the lyrics have a lot of criticism of social systems, but also a lot of like self-affirmation and advice for self-improvement. And also there are a lot of songs that are just kind of maybe free associative or impressionistic, like Summertime off the new album I can think of. And so what kind of things throughout the day inspire you to write lyrics? Like where do you find inspiration? Maybe a tricky question.
No, not at all. In fact, it's interesting we even talking. I like the fact that we're talking about writing and lyrics. I wrote a book recently called The Art of MCing, where I pretty much lay out my technique of writing songs and give some insight to people who, basically trying to set up their own publishing companies as writers and writer's block and sound check, herbs to take care of your voice if you're smoking a lot of blunts. So I'm very much into the writing process. My inspirations come from my experiences, number one. Things I go through constantly, I'm like, let me write a note. This is, something I want to write about or might be interesting. But a lot of times I write those affirmations and things like that for myself. The investigation that you go inside yourself when you say, like, for example, Refuse to Lose, that record. Green had already had that beat and that the hook, and he was like, yo, I like the energy of it. I ain't gonna say it was my favorite track or whatever, but I like the energy and the whole concept of Refuse to Lose. I've been going through things like that, with business wise or my family or drugs in the family and things like that. So it was a good way for me to release that steam, you know what I mean? And a lot of times people think, when we write these things, we're preaching to people or we're trying to tell people what to do. But a lot of times these are self-healing, lyrics. And things that I know if I record this song and I put it on this CD when I wake up in the morning or when I do my workout, instead of me thinking the negative, I'm going to say, I got faith strong enough to cut through a gold mine, hold a goal in my mind till I reach the goal line, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I need to be thinking. So I'll write that instead of, shit is fucked up and whoop-de-whoop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm striving. I believe that word, sound, and power. I believe, what you tell yourself most often is going to guide and shape your thoughts. So I'm trying now to phrase things more in a positive or proactive thing instead of just a critique,
Another question I had, it's been said by some political commentators that hip-hop and activism by hip-hop artists or hip-hop songs played an instrumental role this last election cycle in electing President Obama. I guess I was wondering if you thought that was true, if you like where you think hip-hop's place in the political process is, how much power hip-hop has in, I guess, in like the political arena, or do you think it should operate there or on another level, or what is your opinion?
Yeah, well, as far as what role did hip-hop play in Obama's election, I think when Russell Simmons and, just to pick a point to start, Russell Simmons and his organization and Al Sharpton even, a few years ago, they had a campaign of voters registration, and they deliberately called out, Russell Simmons called in a lot of favors from Def Jam heavyweights and blah, 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 Puffy and all this. And, they did a big push for voters registration.
Yeah, like the vote or die stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then, they were, and it was geared around Bush's popularity, and I think even though I had a radically different political perspective from that, I think that introduced the potential of hip hop being, I will even use the word, exploited for political, for a mainstream political usage. And I think based off Bush's impopularity and based off the conditions that masses of people live in and want change, genuine change, the fact that Barack Obama was able to hone in at that time was a critical move on his part in the chess game of politics. And I think he was able to take advantage of that young interest in change. He represented that. He's not a quote unquote hip hop personality, but he was able to relate to it more than any other candidate has ever done. And I think that because hip hop is such a universal language of the youth around the world, that his popularity is unstoppable. And then you accompany that with the revolution in technology with the internet, hip hop continues to play that role in even making the internet as popular as it is based off music and music sharing and being able to have access to your favorite artists, and all of this, is a big part of what makes all of that stuff successful. So hip hop is the kind of like the slave of these developments, but hip hop has yet to come into its own consciousness of its power for its own protection and institutional development, for the people who actually do hip hop, and live this,
Yeah, I guess as you say, it's bigger than hip hop.
For sure.
So I guess we're coming to the end of our time left for this interview, but just wanted to ask, what can we expect from Stick.man and from Dead Prez in the near future? What's coming up?
Well, our company, Boss Up Incorporated, is basically our entrepreneurial example of being able to develop things along the line of our brand of Dead Prez, outside of music and within music. So we basically going to be developing our company, our website, bossupbu.com. We have books that we authored and that I authored, vegetarian lifestyle books. We have merchandise there, hood news. We have a monthly magazine called Ammo Mag. We're doing a lot of touring, more production, just staying on top of the business end so that we can get more effective and more frequent in our releases, and have better quality every time. So people haven't seen the best yet, but we're working on it.
The best is yet to come.
For sure.
All right. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah. It's been great. Dead Prez, Pulse of the People, Turn Off the Radio, Volume 3 with DJ Green Lantern. It's on the TDS playlist right now. Check it out.